The sound of trumpets echoed beyond the mountains. An army clad in crimson armor marched across the plains of Altyra. Banners trembled in the wind, and the earth quivered beneath the horses' hooves. Opposite them, the army of Arawan waited for the signal to attack. Between the two armies ran a silver river, the border of hatred for 100 years. Amid the ranks, two pairs of eyes found each other again. Layan, young commander of Altyra. Sirin, princess of Arawan. No one knew what secret lay between them. But that gaze carried a fire deadlier than any sword. Layan whispered, "If only we were not enemies." 3 months earlier, fate had brought them together in the northern forests. Layan had been hunting down bandits who attacked a royal caravan. After a bloody skirmish, he found only one survivor, a girl with torn clothes and a broken crown. Without knowing who she was, he saved her and carried her to an old hut. He dressed her wounds, lit a fire, and said, "Rest. You're safe here." The girl whispered weakly, "Do you know who I am?" Layan smiled. "It doesn't matter. You're hurt, not my enemy." They stayed there for 3 days. In the silence and warmth of the fire, a bond was born. A girl of Arawan, a boy of Altyra, 2 enemies under one roof. On the 3rd day, Arawan's soldiers found the missing princess. They burst into the hut and took her away. Only then did Layan learn who she truly was. Yet in her eyes he saw tears, not pride, not fear. As they led her away, she whispered, "If we ever meet again, pretend you don't know me." He only nodded. War soon ignited once more. And now, they stood on opposite sides of the river. But no act could hide what their eyes revealed. The second trumpet sounded, the signal to charge. Thousands of arrows darkened the sky. Layan rode forward, his heart pounding for a reason other than battle. From her tower, Sirin watched only him. Suddenly, an explosion tore through the Altyran flank. The earth split, and smoke rose high. Layan galloped toward the chaos to rescue his men. Amid the flames, he saw a boy trapped in fire. He lifted him out, but an arrow struck his arm. Pain shot through him like lightning. As he staggered, an enemy rider approached, spear poised. Layan raised his sword, but too slowly. Then another white horse dashed in and blocked the strike. It was Sirin. She threw herself between them and deflected the spear. "You," gasped Layan. "I promised I wouldn't let you die," she said, breathless. The battlefield froze. 2 sworn enemies, saving each other's lives. Murmurs rippled through both armies. The generals shouted, "Seize them!" But the ground trembled. Thunder roared, and an old wizard appeared between the lines. He struck his staff upon the earth. "Innocent blood has been spilled. Let love end the war." A blinding light burst forth, and the river gleamed. From its heart rose a bridge of pure light. Sirin and Layan stood upon it. "If love is a crime," she said, "then let all witness it." Layan took her hand. "Then we'll be guilty together." Silence spread like dawn. One by one, soldiers lowered their blades. King Arawan stepped forward, his face unreadable. Every breath on the field held still. He looked at his daughter. Tears welled in his eyes. "Hatred has ruled long enough," he said. "Let love rule now." Turning to Layan, he continued. "If you seek my heart, do not make me your enemy." Layan knelt. "I swear to protect her, and this land, till my last breath." A cheer rose from the plains. Flags fell, drums ceased. After a century, peace had returned. Sunlight broke through the clouds. Its rays danced upon the bridge. The wizard smiled and vanished. Only a shimmer of light remained. That day was written in history as the Day of Union. Months later, the two kingdoms became one. Castles once divided now flew the same white banners. On their wedding day, the great hall glowed with candles and flowers. Sirin wore a gown the color of dawn. Her crown was made not of gold, but of wild blossoms. Layan stood beside her in silver armor, swordless. The old wizard proclaimed, "This marriage is the bond of peace between two worlds." When their lips met in the candlelight, the crowd roared. Outside, a gentle rain began to fall. It washed away the soil of hatred and planted the seed of love. Months passed. A new fortress was built upon the river, exactly where war once raged. They called it the Castle of Light. People from both lands came to visit their rulers. No one could believe that old enemies now ruled side by side. In the courtyard, Layan laid his sword upon the stones. "Perhaps true warriors," he said, "are those who no longer fight." Sirin smiled. "And the truest victory," she said, "is when no one loses." Their laughter mingled with the wind over the river. One winter night, word arrived, tribes from the north were rising. Layan reached for his sword, but Sirin stopped him. "Go with words this time, not steel." He paused, then nodded. He rode north alone and met the tribe's leader. Days later, he returned, without battle, without blood. All they wanted, he said, was to be heard. Sirin looked at him with pride. Peace endured through dialogue. Love proved stronger than fear. Years passed. A child was born in the castle, their son, Eliar. He had his father's silver hair and his mother's amber eyes. The old wizard smiled. "He is the child of unity." And he foretold, when he comes of age, a new era will begin. Sirin laughed. "I just hope he isn't as stubborn as his father." Layan grinned. "Or as fearless as his mother." That night, meteors streaked across the sky. The people called it the blessing rain. A sign that the heavens rejoiced. When Eliar grew older, whispers spread of a dark magic rising at the borders. One shadows from the past had returned. Layan donned his armor once more, and Sirin stood beside him. "We began together," she said. "We defend together." The army of light marched forth. In the mist, creatures of darkness emerged. The earth trembled with their roar, lightning split the skies as the battle began. From the tower, young Eliar shouted, "Rebuild the bridge of light." Layan drove his sword into the ground. A column of white light surged upward. The river blazed once more. The creatures screamed and vanished in the radiance. "With love, not hate," Sirin cried. Light spread across the battlefield. When the glow faded, silence reigned. Layan, Sirin, and Eliar stood together in peace. The soldiers cheered, "Long live the House of Light." Thus began the new age of union. Years later, the old wizard sat upon the castle balcony. Watching the river, he murmured, the prophecy was true. Eliar now ruled as king. His parents rested beside him, smiling. "It was all worth it," said Layan. "Because it began with love," Sirin replied. The wizard chuckled, "And love never dies." A breeze rose from the river. Lanterns lit across the night. Birds sang among the trees. In the city square stood a statue. Two figures on a bridge of light, hands entwined. On the base were carved the words, "Borders burn where hearts divide, not where swords strike." Each year, on the Day of Union, people lit candles by the river. Children played where armies once clashed. Elders told the tale of Sirin and Layan. They proved love is mightier than magic, they'd say. At sunset, a golden light always touched the bridge. As if the heavens themselves remembered. One evening, Eliar stood upon that bridge. He listened to the river whisper. It sounded like voices from beyond, his parents' voices. "Father, mother," he said softly, "I'll carry your dream." A gentle wind stirred. The lanterns shimmered. In their glow, two faint figures appeared, smiling. Eliar placed his hand over his heart. "The bridge will never fade," he whispered. From afar, the wizard's voice echoed, as long as love lives, light endures. Dawn broke. The sun touched the castle of light. Banners shimmered in the breeze. People awoke with hope. There were no borders, no hatred. Two lands, one kingdom. And love, their new law. Surin and Layan lived forever in legend. Children smiled at their names. Elders said, the bridge still glows each night. For no force is greater than two hearts united. Twilight returned, and the river gleamed again. A white bird soared from the castle toward the horizon. In the grand hall, their painting hung, hand in hand upon the bridge. Beneath it, an inscription read, War ended because love began. Red Heart.